Hello, it's day 7. I'll get going here relatively soon. Heading over to Birchwood where there's a hut, but it's a long day, kilometer-wise. I guess not as hard of kilometers, but I'm still a bit nervous. It's a bit overcast and we may get some rain. And I was just gonna make a note for my friends and family who maybe in watching the previous videos figured out that if I didn't boil water for the last 2 or so days, except for at that hut for lunch, then how did I have my cup of coffee in the morning? Because those who know me, now that's a prerequisite for doing anything at all. And no, I didn't boil water and I didn't have a cup of coffee, but I came prepared, and it's called no-dose, so caffeine tablets. Yes, I did that both mornings, and absolute lifesaver. So for those of you on trail or who need their morning caffeine and you can't get a cup of coffee, just have a no-dose on hand. And that really helped me kickstart my day and get going. And the other thing I wanted to note that I keep meaning to mention since, I don't know, day 3, but there's been other drama, is my backpack was just killing me on the clavicles and shoulders, like just pressing and hurting, not just sort of weight pain, but really sore. And I didn't know how I'd continue on, so I brought a spare pair of socks that were gonna be my mud socks because I've worn them hiking before. And on day 3, I decided, let's see how these work. So I've been using those as shoulder padding across here. They're shaped just perfectly, really, and then they go here. And so ladies who, if you're wearing a bra, you can stick them under the straps and just, it's just enough padding under there that it honestly is a game changer, lifesaver for carrying that pack. And I guess they weren't my mud socks, they are now my shoulder pads. So just a tip for y'all. And I will see you later out on trail, weather permitting. Bye for now. Bye bye. Hi. On to the next one. Hello. So just had a bit of an adventure, unintentionally. I went the way the track marker said, and the trail map says, but actually if I remember reading notes, I could have just come this way. Went across a paddock, went over the stile, and as I was going over the stile, I noticed that it was an electric fence along there. It was actually covered right at that spot, but it was just the fact that I saw an electric fence just made me pause. I wasn't looking where I stepped down. And somehow I didn't step down on flat like I was expecting. It was some little groove that I stepped into, which then had me fall over onto my left side and back. And I was shocked, startled. Okay, fine. But then when I got up, I looked around and realized that there were cow patties everywhere. And I thought, but I think I'm okay. And I looked, and there was one near where I'd been that, well, let's just say it had a large smear mark on it. So I took off my pack, and I just didn't see anything. And I thought, no, I must have escaped that somehow. But then I looked a bit closer and realized, yes, I had cow dung all over the bottom left part of my top and the back and sort of the left buttocks of my pants. So yay, that was really pleasant. I always bring too much water. Today there's not supposed to be a lot of water sources, so I did fill up my 3 bottles, and well, some of that extra water, if that's what it would have been, did go to cleaning myself off. So yay, at least I got that going for me. But that's definitely taken a bite at a time and wasn't pleasant. You might think it's funny. I might later. So yeah, off to a bit of a crappy start. I'll see you on the trail. It's very wet here today. It was a very steep farm road up to here. And then honestly, I wasn't sure where the track was a few times. Coming just through the first part there. But I made it, and yeah, I'm just getting drenched because it's so wet here. Just everything is wet. But right now the footing's good. Hi. I just want to say that there was one pretty big plus for Longwood Forest, and that is that there were no sandflies, or really none to speak of, which I don't even know how that was possible. But considering all the other hardships, that's a huge plus. So Longwood Forest has that going for it. And it is pretty, but when I say it's a mud fest, there were sections that I didn't even attempt to film where the mud is knee deep. And there really isn't a good way around, and it's too much energy to find that anyway. So you just gotta step in and walk through as sort of forward going and carefully as you can. And just make your way through knee deep, ankle deep, whatever. Lots of mud. So that's what the Longwood Forest has in store. But no sandflies. So remember that. Ba-ram-you. Sheep be strong, sheep be true. Ba-ram-you. In the middle of a four-wheel drive track, in the middle of a forest, on top of this hill, apparently the four-wheel drive track changes names. I just find that really interesting. Getting here, going up the hill, was insanely hard for me. It was through forest, which was gorgeous, but it was straight up. And it was miserable. Really miserable. So apparently on the other end, there's that kind of steep down, which won't be as physically grueling, but will be hard, because that's not an easy thing to do with a pack either. This is a very hard day. Hello! Today is day 8. I'll give you a recap of ending to day 7 in a moment. Today's a bad weather rest day, which is just as well. So actually, I might just call it a good weather day, because it's forced in a rest day. Yesterday, I ended up finally making it to the top, as I'd mentioned, along the road, and got to the farm station that you then just had to walk down, which was a very steep down. But it wasn't forest like I thought it would be. It was just farmland, which isn't actually that easy of walking. But I got confused up there, didn't realize I had to follow the fence, and wandered off for probably an extra kilometer. Earlier in the day, I had somehow missed a turnoff and walked an extra kilometer. And then once I was down the hill, there were markers. I followed the markers, but hadn't looked at the map at the right time, and ended up going maybe another extra kilometer out of my way, following the wrong markers. And then at the end of those markers, I followed the wrong road, not because I didn't follow the map, but because I had some understanding that getting to the hut entailed going down a different road, and I misunderstood that. So that was probably an extra 2-kilometer walk. So all in all, I think I walked about an extra 5 kilometers, and it was a really hard, tiring day. So I made it here before dark, but it was just too late to film and do that. And yes, I found yesterday to be hard in a totally different way, to the point where I was almost pining for Longwood Forest, because it was just long and weird, different stretches, and yeah, then adding in the extra walking because I went the wrong way also meant for the last 4 hours I just kept walking. I didn't stop at all. But I made it here, and I was able to, it's a great little kind of luxurious hut on this Birchwood station, $20 a night. There's electricity, there's running water, there's a hot shower, and there's a wood burner. So that's great. And so Helen is here, who was with me at Meriview. We didn't walk together, but she's here. And I met 2 other just section hikers. They were going Sobo, and so they came from the other direction. 2 guys from the West Coast, really, really friendly guys. And they were gonna go on to Bluff, but Mark has injured his knee a bit. It's not feeling quite well enough, so they're not gonna carry on, which I think makes sense considering the steepness of what was yet to come, and of course Longwood Forest. So they'll carry on at some point in the summer. But yeah, so all in all, really hard day, maybe some lessons learned, and I'll just try to organize everything as best I can for tomorrow, so I have the time for that. And I will see you later.
We may need a bump start. We may need a bump start, eh?
Yeah, we'll be right.
Saying bye to Mark and Hank.
This is part of your journey, is it?
Yes.
Well, Princess Diana, Guard of Honour, Buckingham Palace, when she got married, I was there in the Welsh Guards. I got a piece of her cake.